Hello ladies, it is Mr. T. This is my final lesson to you. The reason I'm sending this video is that I feel that this is one topic that we didn't cover, but you could score really easy points on the SAT. So this particular topic involves direct proportion versus indirect or inverse proportion. Now I'm going to explain to you exactly what these two particular terms mean in terms of understanding the topics, but they essentially cover a math topic that you've already seen before, which is setting up a proportion and using ratios or fractions to set that proportion up. All right, so direct proportion is defined as the following. So as one value goes up, the other one also goes up. Conversely, if one value goes down, the other value also goes down. So an example of this is if I eat more junk food, I gain more weight. Notice that the relationship between junk food and weight is that they both go up. If one goes up, the other one goes up. Okay. Also, if I eat less junk food, I can predict that I will gain less weight. All right. So in order to answer an SAT question where they ask you about a directly varying or a directly proportional relationship, you want to set up a ratio or a proportion using fractions. All right, it's very important. Relate the word direct to the word setting up fractions. Okay, direct, you set up fractions. Okay, we're going to take a look at an example using the one that we just that I just mentioned. Okay, so if I eat 20 pieces of candy, I will gain 1 pound. Notice this is a direct relationship, and the SAT will tell you this relationship is directly proportional or it directly varies. So as I eat more candy, I gain more weight. How many pounds do I gain if I eat 50 pieces of candy? So there's two situations here. We have a situation where I eat 20 pieces of candy and I gain 1 pound. And then there's the situation right here. If I eat 50 pieces of candy, how much weight am I going to gain? So if you take a look right down here, I've set up my two situations. So my first situation is a fraction because we're dealing with a direct proportion. And I say if I eat 20 pieces of candy, I gain 1 pound. Set it up as a fraction, 20 over 1. That is equal to the second situation. If I eat 50 pounds of candy, or 50 pieces of candy rather, how many pounds am I going to gain? And essentially, we do the math that I already showed you. You cross multiply. So 20 times x equals 1 times 50, which is 50. And if you solve for x, which is the number of pounds, you will get 2.5. All right, let's take a look at inverse or indirect proportions. All right, so indirect or inverse proportions involve sort of the opposite of direct proportions. So an indirect or inverse proportion is defined as when one value goes up, the other value is going to go down. Conversely, if one value goes down, the other value goes up. So an inverse or indirect relationship is sort of like thinking about opposites. As one goes up, the other one goes down. As one goes down, the other one goes up. Here's an example, and you may be able to relate to this. It says, the more hours I stay up looking at Facebook, the lower my SAT score is. Obviously, this is an indirect or inverse relationship because the number of hours is increasing, but the SAT score is decreasing. To answer inverse or indirect varying questions, you must set up two situations like we did before. But instead of setting up two fractions, we're going to set up two multiplication expressions between the two related situations and the two related values. You'll see how this works. So again, when you hear or see the word indirect or inverse, and they'll say this relationship has an indirect variation or indirectly or inversely varies, you're going to set up multiplication between the two situations. So here is our example. Kind of showed you the answer there, but it's all right. If I stay up late 2 hours on Facebook, I will receive a score of 2,000. What score will I get if I stay up for 3 hours? Now, I'm telling you that this particular situation is inversely proportional. It didn't say it in the question, but I promise you that the SAT will tell you that this relationship is inversely proportional, meaning as one goes up, the other one goes down. In this case, it looks like the hours went up, so we're thinking that our score is obviously going to go down. If you spend more time on Facebook, you're probably going to get a lower score. Okay, so take a look at how I've set it up. Take a look. We have two situations. For 2 hours, I'll get a 2,000 on the SAT. But for 3 hours, I'm going to get what I believe is going to be a lower score on the SAT. Situation 1 equals situation 2. But instead of setting up fractions, I've set up multiplication. Again, in this case, I don't cross multiply, but I can simplify my expression. So 2 times 2,000 equals 4,000. And that is equal to 3 times x, which is 3x. So I've written 4,000 equals 3x. Of course, I divide by 3 if I'm going to solve for x. And guess what? X equals a 1333, which means that the SAT score did get lower because this person spent more time on Facebook. This inverse relationship showed that as one value went up, the other value unfortunately went down. All right, so that is it for direct and indirect or inverse proportions. I miss you all, and I hope to see you soon. Let me know when you graduate and where you're going. Email me, and have a great day.